From toxic Lego bricks to skull-penetrating lawn darts, toy guns, the slip and slide, and more. Do you remember the mix of fascination and danger from toys from the 1970s? Trust me, even you might be surprised by the risks of these toys. Which one of these did you have as a kid? Lego. Those colorful Danish bricks scattered across shag carpets in living rooms nationwide. The pride of completing a set, the creativity of making your own creations, and the excruciating pain of stepping on a stray brick in the middle of the night. Parents of the 70s barely noticed those small parts and choking hazards that would alarm today's helicopter parents. Back then, the red and yellow-colored Lego bricks contained the toxic metal cadmium, but the distinctive click of bricks connecting remains the soundtrack of a generation's imagination. Did you have Legos during your childhood? I did, and I loved them. Easy Bake Oven. The soft glow of that 100-watt light bulb, the warm vanilla scent of miniature cakes baking. The Easy Bake Oven transformed us, or our sisters, into pastry chefs before we could even tie our shoes properly. Girls would proudly serve tiny, half-baked treats that family members pretended to enjoy. What our parents overlooked were the serious burn risks from that unshielded bulb, reaching temperatures of 350 degrees. Eventually, safety modifications tamed this beloved toy, but those original models were deliciously dangerous. Let's continue with another dangerous toy from our childhood. And there are many more to come. Some of you most likely know, but some more unknown toys are on my list. Clackers. The rhythmic click-clack-click of those acrylic balls swinging together defined many a 1970s recess. We'd spend hours mastering the wrist motion, building up to that perfect continuous swing. Remember the pride when you finally got them clicking above and below your hand? What we didn't know was those colorful spheres could shatter into dangerous shards, sending acrylic splinters flying. And I remember, painfully, the bruises they could cause. Lawn darts. Those seemingly innocent, oversized darts transformed suburban backyards into danger zones on lazy Sunday afternoons. The satisfying arc as they sailed through the air, the solid thunk as they pierced the earth. Pure summer magic. Families gathered in bell-bottoms and wide collars, tossing weighted spears toward plastic rings, blissfully unaware of the potential consequences. After several tragic accidents involving children, these backyard staples were banned outright, a sobering end to an iconic 70s pastime. Bag of glass. Remember when Bag-O-Glass seemed like harmless fun? Just colorful shards of broken glass marketed as a toy. We'd sift through those glittering pieces, our small fingers somehow avoiding serious cuts, while our parents remained blissfully unaware of the danger. The lack of safety standards in the 70s meant these hazardous joke toys disappeared once consumer protection groups raised the alarm. Chem Toys Lemon Twist Toy. That distinctive plastic lemon scent still takes me back. The Lemon Twist featured a plastic ball attached to an ankle ring by a cord. Simple, yet captivating. We'd swing that ball around for hours, mastering tricks in driveways across America. But those cords? Perfect tripping hazards that caused countless sprained ankles and occasional concussions before being pulled from shelves. Star Wars projectile toys. Space battles across living room galaxies. Those early Star Wars fighters let us launch actual missiles at imaginary enemies. We'd spend hours perfecting our aim, sending those small plastic projectiles soaring. But those same perfectly sized rockets became notorious choking hazards. After several terrifying incidents, toy companies redesigned them with non-removable parts, ending an era of authentic space warfare. But there were other spaceships like the 1978 Cylon Raider spaceship, the Battlestar Galactica. Cylon Raider was the coolest spaceship ever, with those spring-loaded missiles that really fired. Just like with the Star Wars spaceships, we launched those red projectiles, propelling them in graceful arcs across our living rooms, ducking behind furniture for imaginary space battles. But those small missiles were just about the same as the Star Wars spaceships, perfect for small throats leading to choking incidents that eventually grounded this beloved toy permanently. Did you have any of these spaceship toys? BB guns? You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Wasn't just a movie line, it was a genuine concern. Those Daisy air rifles were practically a rite of passage for 70s American boys. We'd prowl backyards in cut-off jeans, feeling like frontier explorers. The weight, the shine, the clicking hammer. They were indistinguishable from Dad's service weapon. No orange safety tips back then. The combination of pressurized air, metal BVs, and unsupervised children led to predictable emergency room visits before stricter age restrictions were implemented. But there were more toy firearms. Cap guns. That distinctive snap, crack, pop, and sulfur smell defined countless summer afternoons. We'd stage elaborate neighborhood shootouts, those realistic-looking pistols tucked in our waistbands. The caps themselves contained explosive chemicals that occasionally caused burns, while the gun's realistic appearance eventually raised concerns about police interactions, leading to today's bright orange safety tips. But if you wanted to be a little more sneaky, you had a spy gun. Oh, those spy guns. The radio rifle let us pretend we were secret agents, disguising deadly firepower as innocent transistor radios. The snapshot tucked neatly into a belt buckle, perfect for playground espionage. We'd lurk behind trees, taking secret photos of neighborhood spies. But those spring-loaded mechanisms packed surprising force, causing eye injuries that eventually led to their quiet disappearance from toy stores. Did you have any of these realistic toy guns? Share it with us in the comments below. Dip A flower sets. Remember creating glass flowers on rainy afternoons? Those colorful Dip A flower kits let us dip wire frames into mysterious chemical solutions that hardened into delicate blooms. The plastic smell still takes me back to my bedroom floor, carefully crafting bouquets. What we didn't know, this resin contained toxic chemicals that could cause severe skin irritation and respiratory problems. Beautiful, but dangerous. Our childhood in a nutshell. What do you think changed to today's toys and ways of playing? Do you think it is a good, safer change? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I am curious what you think. Snack Time Cabbage Patch Doll. Those motorized mouths that would eat plastic food seemed magical. They were most popular in a later time, but were introduced in the 70s. We'd gather around, giggling as the dolls chomped down on specially designed snacks. But those motors didn't discriminate between plastic food and little fingers, or worse, hair. Many tearful emergency haircuts and minor injuries later, these hungry little friends were quietly recalled, becoming collector's items rather than playroom staples. Toy fireworks. Those summer evenings with super bangs were pure magic. We'd throw those little paper-wrapped packets on the sidewalk, delighting in the sharp crack and wisp of smoke. Our pockets bulged with them on July 4th, fingers smelling of gunpowder all day. But those small explosives contained legitimate chemicals that caused burns and occasional hearing damage. Today's kids will never know that distinctive smell of childhood danger. What a time to be a kid. Metal playgrounds, those blazing hot metal slides and jungle gyms defined summer in the 70s. Remember the searing touch of metal left baking in the July sun? Or the dizzying heights of those rocket-shaped climbers with no safety surfaces below? Just hard-packed dirt waiting for inevitable falls. The scrapes, burns, and broken arms eventually led to today's plastic wonderlands with their cushioned landing zones. Safer? Yes. As thrilling? Do not try to change my mind. Aurora monster scenes. Those ghoulish monster model kits let us build our own horror movie sets. The torture devices, scantily clad victims, and gruesome scenes we'd proudly display on bedroom shelves would horrify today's parents. We'd spend hours carefully painting details and assembling tiny electric chairs. Parents barely noticed until consumer groups pointed out the disturbing themes, sending these delightfully macabre toys into collector obscurity. Slip and slide. Those long yellow sheets of plastic unfurled across summer lawns nationwide, promising cooling relief from July heat. We'd run, dive, and hydroplane across yards, the distinctive sound of squeaking plastic and spraying water filling the air. What we didn't anticipate were the compression fractures, neck injuries, and broken collarbones that occurred when teenagers and adults joined the fun. Just like stones, or the abrupt stop when you got off the sheets, face first into the grass. But if you ask me, it was worth the danger. Swing wing. That plastic propeller attached to a headband promised we could fly like a bird simply by spinning our heads in circles. The whirling sound, the dizzying centrifugal force as we spun faster and faster, trying to get the wings to rise. Pure 1970s entertainment. What we didn't anticipate were the neck injuries, headaches, and occasional concussions from this simplistic toy, making it disappear from the shelves. Shogun Warriors. Those massive Japanese robots towering over our other toys made us feel powerful. Standing 2 feet tall with firing fists and projectile weapons, they dominated bedroom battlefields. We'd shoot those spring-loaded missiles across rooms, delighting in their impressive range. But those same powerful launchers sent countless kids to emergency rooms with eye injuries, eventually leading to their redesign with permanently attached weapons. Disco Punch. Do you recall that satisfying thwack of the disco punch? That plastic contraption would launch hard plastic discs with surprising force. We'd set up targets throughout the house, mastering trick shots around corners. The sting, when you caught one with your cheek instead of your hand, was a badge of honor. After numerous reports of facial injuries and broken windows, these powerful little launchers quietly disappeared from toy shelves. But guess what? I still have one of the original ones. Shrinky Dinks. Oh, the magic of watching those colorful plastic sheets transform in Mom's oven. Remember the anticipation as we pressed our noses against the oven door, watching our hand-drawn creations curl, twist, and finally shrink into perfect miniature versions. The distinctive plastic smell would fill the kitchen as we created tiny jewelry and figurines. But those scorching hot trays caused countless burns on eager little fingers too impatient to wait for cooling. A childhood lesson in patience learned the hard way. Slime. That strange, otherworldly texture of Mattel's green slime still feels vivid on my fingertips. Stored in those iconic trash can containers, we'd pour it between our hands, letting it ooze through our fingers while making appropriate monster noises. Remember that unmistakable chemical smell? Turns out those early formulations contained potentially harmful boron and mineral oil that could cause skin irritations. Today's versions are safer, but nothing compares to that original forbidden goo. C. Gilbert chemistry sets. Those magnificent wooden cases open to reveal glass vials, mysterious powders, and the promise of discovery. We'd mix actual chemicals in our bedrooms, creating smoke, smells, and occasionally small explosions that would make modern parents faint. These weren't watered-down experiments. They contained genuine chemicals like potassium nitrate and sulfur. The thrill of danger was part of the learning experience before liability concerns transformed childhood discovery. But there are more chemistry sets worth mentioning. Porter Chemcraft. Remember those bold red boxes promising 1001 experiments? Porter's chemistry sets let us feel like genuine scientists in our wood-paneled basements. The glass test tubes, alcohol burners with real flames, and chemicals that could stain, burn, or explode gave us a heady sense of responsibility. Some sets even included uranium ore. The boundary between education and danger was gloriously blurred before safety standards changed the landscape of childhood exploration. Skillcraft chemistry sets. Scattered across basement floors, we'd carefully follow instructions for creating crystals, color-changing solutions, and bubbling reactions. Some experiments produced genuine heat or flames that singed eyebrows and occasionally curtains. Parents trusted us with actual chemicals, glass equipment, and open flames in ways unimaginable today. Those tiny burns and stains were badges of scientific honor in the 1970s. Talking about burns, flammable costumes. Remember those Ben Cooper Halloween costumes with their plastic masks and thin fabric suits? We'd parade through neighborhoods in the dark, plastic capes billowing behind us, completely unaware that our Superman or Wonder Woman outfits could transform into flaming death traps near jack-o'-lantern candles. The smell of that cheap plastic mask, the condensation of breath inside, sensory memories from before flame retardant requirements forever changed the Halloween experience. Flammable plush toys. Those cuddly teddy bears and stuffed animals we'd clutch while falling asleep weren't the flame-resistant friends of today. Our bedroom menageries contained creatures stuffed with materials that could ignite from a single spark. The soft fur against our cheeks, the comfort of a constant companion. None of us realized those beloved toys could become dangerous hazards near heaters or in homes where parents still smoked. Innocence before safety regulations took hold. Gilbert's glass blowing set. Can you believe we were trusted with genuine glass blowing equipment? Those Gilbert sets weren't very popular, but let us heat glass tubes with actual flames until they softened, then bend and shape them into delicate creations. The heat on our faces, the challenge of getting the perfect curve, those were afternoons of concentrated creation. With that fun, the danger was just around the corner. Burns, shattered glass, and occasional minor fires eventually convinced regulators that perhaps children and molten glass weren't an ideal combination. Slingshots. Remember the heft of those wooden Y-shaped slingshots tucked into back pockets of corduroys? Summer afternoons stretched endlessly as we'd search for the perfect pebble, pull back that rubber band until it quivered with tension, and release with a satisfying snap. The thrill of watching your projectiles soar through neighborhood skies. Those weren't toys to our parents. They were weapons hiding in plain sight. After countless broken windows and more than a few black eyes, they gradually disappeared from corner stores and five and dimes. Talking about neighborhood adventures. Swing bikes. the squeak of those banana seats against our thighs, the gleam of metallic paint catching the sun as we popped wheelies down neighborhood streets. Those distinctive high handlebars made us feel like Easy Rider on training wheels. Remember the envy when the first kid got a swing bike with that pivot joint that let the front wheels swing independently? Pure freedom and pure danger. The injuries from those spectacular wipeouts eventually led to safer designs, but nothing matched the rush of those first precarious rides. Super elastic bubble plastic. We'd squeeze that mysterious goo onto the end of those little plastic straws, then blow gently until iridescent bubbles expanded before our eyes. The rainbow sheen, the delicate wobble as they detached and floated away. Pure magic in chemical form. Of course, we were essentially inhaling toxic chemicals with every puff, something parents didn't realize until reports of dizziness and respiratory issues emerged. Another sensory wonder sacrificed to safety. Which of these toys did you have as a kid, and which did I miss in this video? Let me know in the comments below. But let's hear about, if not the most famous toys from back then. Thing Maker. The intoxicating smell of cooking plastic goop as we hunched over those scorching hot metal plates. Remember the satisfaction of peeling those rubbery bugs and monsters from their molds? We'd create armies of colorful creatures on rainy Saturday afternoons, our fingertips perpetually dotted with minor burns we wore like badges of honor. Those metal plates heated to alarming temperatures, hot enough to cook actual food. When burn reports mounted and parents realized what was happening in rec rooms across America, these beloved creative toys gradually disappeared. Candy cigarettes. Such chalky white sticks with red tips made us feel so grown up as we'd strut around the neighborhood smoking just like our parents. The powdery sweetness, the way the tip would appear to burn as the red dye transferred to our lips. An entire generation rehearsing adult habits with confectionery props. Convenience stores displayed them right alongside the real thing. No questions asked. These sugary gateways eventually faced backlash for normalizing smoking to impressionable children. But back then, smoking had a whole different status in society. Atomic lab kits. Those magnificent wooden cases opened to reveal mysteries of the atomic age right in our bedrooms. We'd carefully handle the included Geiger counter, uranium ore samples, and mysterious chemicals, feeling like scientists on the frontier of discovery. Parents, still caught up in Cold War scientific enthusiasm, encouraged these educational toys without questioning whether children should be handling radioactive materials. The space-age optimism masked genuine dangers lurking in those impressively designed kits, a perfect metaphor for the decade itself. If you cannot get enough of banned toys from our childhood, check out this video on toys from the 60s. I promise you'll love it just as much.